In this video, I'm going to be teaching how to draft the pattern for this transparent corset. So if you're interested in it, kindly watch till the end. Let's get started. So I'm going to be using this brown paper and it is folded into two. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to mark 1 inch down from that upper part. So mark 1 inch down. This is to serve as a guideline, and then that line becomes our shoulder line. So I'll be connecting the points together, and then I'll be writing S on that line to indicate the shoulder. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark 9 inches down for my shoulder to bust measurements, and then 16 inches down for my shoulder to waist measurements. After marking the points, I'll be connecting them together with my ruler to get a straight line. And after that, I'll be marking 9 inches down from my waist to hip measurement. So you measure your waist to hip measurement. Whatever you get, you mark it down and then connect the points with your ruler. So I'll be indicating the lines with B, W, and then H for bust, waist, and then hip measurements. We already have our shoulder. Now I'll be marking my shoulder to under bust measurements. So measure from your shoulder to your under bust. Whatever you get, you mark it down and then connect with your ruler. Mine is 12.5 inches, and that is what I just marked down. Next thing I'll be doing is to insert my body measurement. My bust is 36 divided by 4, and then I mark 9 inches there. Waist by 4, whatever you get, you mark it down, and then your hip by 4, whatever you get, you mark it down, and then connect the points with your ruler. After connecting, next thing I'll be doing is to put in my nipple to nipple or bust to bust measurements. Mine is 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5, so I mark 3.5 over there, and then I'll be connecting the points together to get a straight line. Next, I'll be marking my shoulder measurements, which is 14 divided by 2, 7 inches on the shoulder, and I'll be marking that same 7 inches on the bust line and then connect the points together. After that, I'll be coming down by 1 inch from the shoulder. This is to get the shoulder slant. And then at the neckline, I'll be marking 3 inches in for the neck width and then 3 inches down for the neck depth. I'll be connecting the points together to get my neckline. After that, I'll be connecting from that 3 inches point to the 1 inch I dropped to get the shoulder slant. And then after that, I'll be dividing that line into 2. So I have 8 by 2 is 4, and then I'll be coming in by 1 inch. After that, I'm going to connect the points together to get my armhole. Make sure it passes through all the 3 points to get something like this. Next, you are going to decide how long you want the front parts of your corset to be. I'm using 6.5 inches at the front, and then at the side I'm using 4 inches. So after marking this point, I realized it wasn't okay with me, so I went ahead to make the front 5.5 and then the side 3.5 inches. So you can decide to shape it however you want at this point. So this 3.5, and then for the front I had 5.5 inches. Sorry, 7 inches instead. So I'll be connecting from that point to the front. So I'll be taking 3 inches from the waist, that is the full waist measurement. So at the side, I'll be reducing it by 0.75 inches. If you multiply that by 4, that means the 4 sides of the blouse, you are going to get 3 inches in total. You can decide to reduce it by 1 or by 0.75. It all depends on you. Next, I'll be connecting the points to the hip line, and then I'll reconnect it to the bust line as well. So like I said, you can decide to take 1 inch from the side so that it will be 4 inches in total if you want, instead of the 0.75. So next thing I'll be doing is to trace this onto the brown paper under. You are tracing everything onto the brown paper under, and then I'll be drawing in the lines after I trace out. So since I use the tracing wheel, it's difficult for you to see, but then if you are working, you know exactly what to trace on your brown paper. So I'm drawing in every line for the front onto the brown paper at the back. Then I'm labeling all the parts as well. You take your time when you're tracing out so that you don't get double lines after tracing. So this is what I have after tracing, and I'm going to label the front and then the back part of the pattern, then divide it into 2. So after cutting it out, I'll be working on the front part. The first thing I'm going to be doing is to come up by 1/2 inch at the center front, and then go in by 1/2 inch at that same point. Connect the 2 points together, just like this. And then at the side, I'll be coming in by 1 1/4. You can come in by 1 1/2 or 1 1/4. So I'll be using 1 1/4, and then after that, the next thing I'll be doing is to divide the shoulder line into 2. I'll be connecting it to the bust line. After connecting, you are going to decide how deep you want the neckline to be. So at this point, you can take the measurements on your body and then decide how deep you want it to be. So from the bust point, I went up by 3.5 inches. You can make it about 3 inches if 3.5 is too high for you. And then on the under bust line, I'll be marking 1/2 1/4 on both sides, so that when I measure the 2, I'll have 1/2 inch. And then on the waistline, I'll be marking 1/2 1/4 on both sides as well, so that the total measurement for the darts will be 0.5 inches. I'm doing same on the hip line as well. And then I'll be doing same on the new blouse length line. The next thing I'll be doing is to come down by 1 inch at the bust line to get the bust point, and then I'll be connecting the points together. From the bust point to the under bust, I'm using my French curve, and then the rest or the other parts I'll be using a straight ruler. Now on the new neckline, I'll be coming out by 1/2 inch on both sides, and then connect it to the bust point. The bust line. And then at the side seam, I'll be coming up by 1 inch from the bust line. This is because I don't want to reveal much skin at that side, but then you can maintain it if you want. But then I always come up by 1 inch, and then it works for me. So after coming up by 1 inch, I went ahead to mark that 1 1/4 I marked earlier on the bust line. So after that, I'll be using my curve to draw in the shape of the upper part of the cap. So just connect from that point to that point, and then from that dart to the center front. Note it should end at that 0.5 inch line. So the next thing I'll be doing is to connect from that point to the under bust. And then I'll be doing same at the center front to the under bust as well. So at this point, I have the shape of my cap, and then I think it's okay. Next thing I'll be doing is to replace the dots. So remember I took 0.75 from the side. You are starting on that line. Then mark your dot intake. So 1.5 inches. I took 1.5 inches for the dot, so I replaced that 1.5 inches at the waist and then the hip line. Then you connect the points together like I'm doing. So I didn't connect to the hip line because that part is no longer part of the blouse, so I'm just connecting it to the new length of the blouse or the hem of the dress. So next thing I'll be doing is to add strap to it if you want to, because this corset has a strap, but then if you don't want it, you can ignore it. Then I'll be adding 1 inch seam allowance to the side. You can add 1.5 if you want, but then since it's a corset, you don't really need so much seam allowance at the side. You can even use 1/2 inch if that's okay with you. After that, I'll go ahead and then connect the points together. So after that, I'll go ahead and then label the cap so that I know which one comes first or which one belongs to the side seam and then the center front. After that, I'll go ahead and then cut out. So watch the way I'm cutting out and then cut out so that you don't make mistakes. So like I said, the strap is optional. If you want it, cool. If you don't want it, you can ignore it. After cutting out, this is what I have, and then I'll be closing the dots for the body of the corset because I don't need a dart. So I'm closing it. I'll close it with my masking tape or sellotape, glue, paper glue, or whatever you can use to close the dart permanently. You go ahead and then use it to close the dart. So after closing it, you see there is a gap over there. I'm going to close it. You can actually do this before you cut out so that you don't waste extra paper. And then for the purpose of the tutorials, I want you to see some of the mistakes or problems you get. So that is it. So I went ahead to replace it, and then this is what I have. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to place the cap on another paper. I'm going to be adding more volume to it, and then I'll be adding seam allowance as well. So at the center, I added 1/4 of an inch, and then I'll be adding 1/4 to the other side as well. So 1/4 on both sides, and then I'll be using my French curve to reshape that part. So just place the curve on it like I've done. You can see the rounded part comes to the center. So just do it as I am doing. I'll be repeating the same thing for this side as well. And then after that, I'll be adding 0.5 inch seam allowance all round. 0.5 inches. 0.5 inch seam allowance all round, and after that I'll be joining the points together. So we are doing this on both caps. So I went ahead to do the same thing at the other side, and then at this point I'm cutting out to show you what I have. So after cutting out, this is what I have for the cap. So I'm labeling this for the center front, and then the other side for the side seam. So this is what I have for the front part of the corset. It's now time to work on the back. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to come up at the side seam by 1 inch like I did for the front. And then at the center back, I'll be going down by 1 inch as well. You can go down or you can make it deeper if you want, but then I'm using 1 inch. So I'll be connecting from that new point to the new points at the center back. You can actually connect it to the bust line if you want to. So the shape at the lower part, I don't need that same shape for the back, so I'll be reshaping the back. So the side is 4 inches. I'll be doing that same or marking that same 4 inches or 5 inches at the back just to give it a shape. So I ended up using 4.5 inches for the center back, and then I'll be connecting the points together. So you can actually shape the back anyhow you want. You can see I'm going in deeper at this point. You can shape it that way or maintain this however you want it to be. You go ahead and then do it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to come in at the center back by 1 1/4 at the bust, and then the width or the new hip line, and then that part will be cut off. It's no longer part of the blouse. And then I added 1 inch seam allowance to the side for the front, so I'm adding that same 1 inch seam allowance to the back, and I'll be connecting the points together with my ruler. So at this point I'm just going to indicate where I'll be placing the eyelets on the back. So that is it for the back, and then I'll go ahead and then cut out. So before I cut everything out, I'm putting in the strap like I did for the front. That is, if you need it. If you don't, you can ignore it. So after cutting out, I'm going to be dividing the waistline into two. Then I'll be placing in, or where I'll be placing in my bone. So just divide it into two. You can make the lines two at the back if you want, but then I'm using just one because it's okay for me. And then for the front, I'm going to be marking 2 inches intervals, but then I realized it's not going to work for me, so I ended up changing it. So I'll be getting rid of that 2 inches intervals and then make another line. So I ended up marking 1 1/4 at the lower part, and then at the upper part I'll be marking 2 inches. Then I'll be connecting the points together. So I'm just doing this so that you know where I'll be placing my boning, but then you can actually change it if you want to. So this is for the front, the center front, and then I'll be adding extra channels to it. So I'll be marking another 1 1/4 at that side, and then I'll be marking 2 inches at the upper part again, and then create another boning channel. So you can repeat the steps so you are okay with the placing of the channels, but then at the end of the day I ended up creating another channel on the final work. So this is just to show you how you can place your bone, and then whatever works for you, you can go ahead and then do it as well. So I actually ended up changing it because I didn't want it to go up there. That is why I changed it on the final work. I didn't want it to reach up there, so I ended up changing the channels. But then if it is okay with you, you go ahead and then use it. And then at the back, I'll be creating the channel at the center of the waist as well. So this is it for both front and back of the corset. I'll be uploading the sewing video very soon. So this is what I have. So like I said, I took 3 inches from the waist. So to get the full 3 inches, I subtracted 0.75 from the waist, so that when you multiply 0.75 by 4, that is the 4 sides of the waist, you are going to get 3 inches. You can actually reduce it by 1 inch, so that when you add all 4 sides, you get 4 inches reduction. So it all depends on you and then what you want. So you can calculate or do whatever you want. Either you maintain the 0.75 or 1 inch. It all depends on you. So I'll be laying my pattern on my fabric, pin it down, and then cut out. And then the next video or the sewing video will be uploaded soon, like I said. So don't forget to like, comment, and share my videos, and then subscribe to my channel so that if I upload the next video, you'll be updated. So thanks for watching, and then see you another time. Bye.